Jake stands alone on the school court at 6 o'clock in the morning, when dew still covers the cracked asphalt like frozen tears of hope. At only 12 years old, and with a right arm that never existed, he holds a worn basketball against his chest and breathes deeply the cold Oakland air. The dawn silence is broken only by the rhythmic sound of the ball hitting the ground. Thump, 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 like a determined heart that refuses to give up. You can perceive that there are dreams that are born not despite our limitations, but exactly because of them. Jake Rodriguez shoots the ball toward the basket with his left arm, watching it draw an imperfect arc that ends by hitting the side of the rim. But his eyes shine with an intensity that could burn through any obstacle. "One more," he whispers to himself, repeating the mantra that has brought him here every morning for the last 4 years. Steph Curry would miss this one too in the beginning. To understand how a boy with half the physical chances developed twice the determination of anyone you've ever met, we need to go back to the day when it all began, when Jake was only 8 years old and discovered that some dreams are too big to fit within limitations. It was a rainy Sunday in December when Lisa Rodriguez turned on the television to entertain her restless son. Jake was sitting on the couch in the small living room, absent-mindedly playing with building blocks, when the screen showed something that would change his life forever. Steph Curry shooting impossible baskets from distances that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "Mom, who is that guy?" asked Jake, his eyes glued to the screen like magnets attracted to pure iron of talent. "That's Steph Curry, honey. He plays basketball," Lisa replied, not imagining that she was planting the seed of an obsession that would grow like a sequoia in fertile soil. How is it possible for someone 8 years old to instantly understand that they have found their destiny? Jake watched Steph drain shot after shot, each basket igniting something deep in his chest, a sensation he couldn't name, but that made him feel as if he had finally found his place in the universe. "I'm going to play just like him," declared Jake that afternoon, with the absolute certainty that only children possess when they touch their own future for the first time. Lisa felt her heart tighten like a closed fist. Her son had been born with upper limb agenesis, a rare condition that left his right arm completely absent from birth. For 8 years, she had protected Jake from activities that might frustrate him, always redirecting his energy to things more suitable for his condition. "Jake, my love," said Lisa, with the softest voice she could muster. "Basketball is a very difficult sport. Maybe we could find something that—" "No, Mom, it's basketball," interrupted Jake, with a firmness she had never heard in his childish voice. "I'm going to be like Steph Curry." It's impossible not to feel the overwhelming power of determination that is born pure and crystalline, without being contaminated by the word impossible. Jake spent the next days asking, begging, negotiating for a basketball, until Lisa finally gave in and bought a small orange rubber ball. Jake's first shot was a complete disaster. The ball flew crooked, hit the garage wall, and came straight back to his face. Any other child would have given up right there, but Jake simply picked up the ball, wiped the blood from his nose, and tried again. Have you ever witnessed the exact moment when someone discovers that failing doesn't mean failing, but rather learning? Jake made this discovery at 8 years old, alone in his mother's garage, transforming each mistake into a teacher and each frustration into fuel. For weeks, Jake trained obsessively in the garage. He developed a unique technique, positioning the ball differently, using his whole body to generate momentum. Lisa watched him from the kitchen window, torn between pride and worry. seeing her little son battle against gravity with supernatural determination. "James, I don't know what to do," Lisa confessed to James Wilson, her husband, one night after Jake had finally gone to sleep. "He's obsessed with this idea of playing basketball. What if he gets hurt? What if other kids laugh at him?" James observed through the window, Jake training in the yard even in the dark, using the light from the street lamp. "Honey, look at him. Have you ever seen Jake so happy doing anything else?" How many times in life do parents need to choose between protecting their children from pain or allowing them to pursue dreams that might hurt them? Lisa discovered that this choice is made not once, but every day, with each small yes that allows the child to fly a little higher. Jake's first successful shot happened on a January afternoon, 3 months after he started training. The ball went cleanly through the improvised basket that James had set up in the garage, and Jake's shout of joy echoed throughout the neighborhood like victory bells ringing for the first time. At that moment, something happened that no one expected. Jake didn't celebrate like a normal child would celebrate an achievement. He simply got the ball back and whispered, "Now I'm going to do it just like Curry did in yesterday's game." Great dreams happen when we stop counting what we lack and start using what we have, Jake murmured to himself, repeating a phrase he had heard Steph Curry say in an interview. Even at 8 years old, he understood that his journey would be different, but that wouldn't make it less valid. Now, 4 years later, Jake is on this school court every morning before classes begin. He has developed a shot that is unique in the world, a technique that no basketball manual ever taught, but that works for him. His baskets aren't perfect, but they are his. And in his 12-year-old heart beats a certainty that not all the physical limitations in the world could shake. One day, he will meet Steph Curry. And when that happens, he will show his hero that impossible dreams are just dreams that haven't yet found the right path to become reality. Jake Rodriguez, now 12 years old, has developed a routine that defies any normal concept of childhood dedication. Every day, at 5:30 in the morning, he jumps out of bed like a soldier responding to an urgent call. While other children still dream of video games and cartoons, Jake is on the school court, sweating through a series of exercises that he invented himself to overcome what the world calls physical limitation. You can perceive that human genius flourishes with greater intensity when it is forced to find alternative paths. Jake created a shot that is completely unique. He positions the ball against his chest, uses the momentum of his entire body, and shoots with precision that would impress any coach, if only they could see beyond the missing arm. 300 shots every morning, Jake whispers to himself as he positions the ball for the 140th time. Steph Curry does 1,000. I'll do 300 until I can do 1,000. Jake's mathematics is simple and devastatingly logical. If he has half the arms, he needs twice the dedication. If the world sees half the possibilities, he needs to prove he's worth 2 whole people. At school, reality is crueler than any empty gymnasium. During recess, when children choose teams for improvised games, Jake is systematically ignored as if he were invisible. Not out of malice, but because of something worse, an automatic assumption that he simply cannot participate. Jake can't play, he only has one arm, said Connor Smith last Thursday, with the innocent brutality that only 12-year-old children can demonstrate. The sentence cut through Jake like a sharp blade, but instead of discouraging him, it ignited something dangerous in his eyes. How is it possible that words intended to limit someone transform into the exact fuel that person needs to fly even higher? Jake grabbed a ball that was abandoned in the corner of the court and, without saying a word, made 5 consecutive 3-point shots while Connor and the other boys watched in absolute silence. "Now, who can't play?" asked Jake, with a calmness that scared even himself. It was the first time he used his ability as a statement, not as a request for acceptance. At home, James Wilson observes his stepson with a complex mixture of pride and concern that only parents of extraordinary children can understand. For months, he tried to protect Jake from inevitable disappointment, suggesting more realistic activities, but gradually realized he was trying to place limitations on someone who simply refused to accept that they existed. "Lisa, did you see what he did yesterday?" James told his wife one night, still processing what he had witnessed. "He was training one-handed dribbles. He invented moves I've never seen in the NBA. It's like his brain reconfigured the rules of basketball." Lisa Rodriguez nods, but her eyes carry tears that she carefully hides every time she sees Jake return from school with that expression of determination mixed with hurt. She knows every micro-expression on her son's face, every sigh of frustration when he thinks no one is watching. It's impossible not to feel your heart break when you realize your child is fighting a daily war against a world that insists on seeing him as incomplete. Lisa spends nights awake wondering if she should intervene, protect him, or simply trust that his inner strength is sufficient to overcome any obstacle. The turning point happens on a Tuesday morning when Jake discovers something that completely changes the game. Browsing YouTube during breakfast, he finds a video announcing that Steph Curry will be in San Francisco next week for a Golden State Warriors charity event. At that moment, something happened that no one expected. Jake doesn't just decide he's going to meet Steph Curry. He decides he's going to prove to his hero that impossible dreams can become reality when they find the right person to believe in them. "Dad, can I borrow your camera?" Jake asks James with an urgency that makes both parents stop drinking their coffee. "What for, son?" "I'm going to make a video for Steph Curry. I'm going to show him how I play." Have you ever witnessed the exact moment when a child decides to rewrite the rules of their own reality? Jake spends the next 3 days planning, filming, and editing a video that captures not only his skills, but the pure determination that burns in his eyes with each shot. The video is only 2 minutes and 40 seconds long, but contains a lifetime of dreams compressed into each second. Jake demonstrates his unique shots, his impossible dribbles, and ends by looking directly at the camera. "Steph Curry, my name is Jake Rodriguez. You taught me that limitation is just a word when you have a giant dream. I want to show you that you were right." James helps post the video on Instagram and social media with the hashtag #CurrySeeMe. During the first hours, only a few family friends watch and comment. But then, something magical happens. The social media algorithm recognizes something special in that content. Great dreams happen when technology meets pure authenticity and decides to amplify a voice that needs to be heard. Jake's video starts with 50 views in the first hour, 500 in the second, 5,000 in the third. How many times does a homemade video made by a 12-year-old child manage to touch the hearts of thousands of strangers in a matter of hours? Jake's video doesn't go viral by accident. It goes viral because it carries a truth so pure that it's impossible to ignore. In 48 hours, #CurrySeeMe is trending, and the video already accumulates more than 100,000 views. Support comments arrive from around the world, but Jake only cares about one. Did it reach Steph Curry? What Jake doesn't know is that on the other side of the Bay Area, in Steph Curry's house, a notification is about to appear on the phone that will change not only Jake's life, but also deeply touch the heart of the man who inspired him to never give up. Steph Curry is sitting in his living room in Atherton on a quiet Thursday morning, checking his social media after breakfast, when a special notification appears on his phone. His assistant had marked a video with the note, "Need to see this today." Steph clicks on the Steph Curry See Me link without imagining that the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds will change not only his day, but redefine what mutual inspiration means. The video begins with Jake Rodriguez standing on an empty court, holding a basketball with the arm he has, but it's what happens in the next seconds that makes Steph pause everything he was doing and watch with total attention. You can perceive that there are moments in life when we witness human purity so intense that it crosses a screen and touches our soul directly. Steph watches Jake execute shots that defy all conventional basketball logic, each movement adapted with creative genius that not even the best coaches in the world could teach. "My God," Steph whispers to himself when he sees Jake make 7 consecutive three-point shots using a technique that is completely unique. This boy reinvented basketball. But it's the end of the video that really hits Steph like lightning in a clear sky. Jake looks directly at the camera with eyes that shine with pure determination. "Steph Curry, my name is Jake Rodriguez. You taught me that limitation is just a word when you have a giant dream. I want to show you that you were right." Steph replays the video 3 consecutive times, feeling something move deeply in his chest. It's not pity, it's recognition. Recognition of a soul that understands. The greatness is not about physical perfection, but about refusing to accept limitations imposed by the world. How is it possible that a 12-year-old child can teach one of the world's greatest athletes a lesson about perseverance? Steph picks up the phone and calls his security team. "I need the address of Oakland Middle School. We're going to make a surprise visit." At that moment, something happened that no one expected. Steph Curry cancels all his morning commitments and decides that some things are more important than any professional agenda. 2 hours later, Oakland Middle School. Jake is on the school court during lunch break, practicing his shots as he always does. The routine has become so natural that he doesn't even notice when a strange murmur begins to spread among students around the school. "Dude, there are a bunch of black cars arriving," whispers Ava, a classmate running toward the court. "And I think no, it can't be." Jake stops dribbling when he sees a crowd of students forming near the school gates. Teachers appear running. Cell phones emerge from every pocket. And then he sees a tall, familiar figure walking toward the court with a smile that Jake would recognize from miles away. It's impossible not to feel the moment when reality surpasses any fantasy you've ever imagined. Jake lets the ball fall from his hands and for a second completely forgets how to breathe. "Jake Rodriguez?" Steph Curry asks, walking directly toward the boy, standing like a statue in the middle of the court. "I came to meet you, brother." What happens in the next 5 seconds is captured by at least 50 cell phones. Jake runs toward Steph and hugs him with total force, his only arm wrapping around the hero who has fed his dreams for 4 entire years. I can't believe you're here," Jake manages to say, between tears he didn't even know he was shedding. "Man, I watched your video and was impressed," Steph responds, and his voice carries a sincerity that makes the entire school stop to listen. "You play in a way I've never seen. I want to learn from you." Have you ever witnessed the moment when a hero admits he can learn from his admirer? The reversal is so pure and unexpected that it makes adult teachers cry without trying to hide it. "Steph, can I show you my shot?" Jake asks, with a boldness that surprises even himself. "Actually," Steph responds with a smile that illuminates the entire court, I was thinking if you'd be up for playing one-on-one with me." The entire school explodes in screams of disbelief. Students run from all directions, teachers abandon their classrooms, even administration staff appear to witness what is about to happen. Steph grabs a ball and hands it to Jake. "You start with possession, man. Show me what you're capable of." How many times in history has a 12-year-old boy had the opportunity to play one-on-one against the NBA's greatest shooter? Jake holds the ball, takes a deep breath, and, for a moment, forgets that hundreds of people are watching. It's just him, Steph Curry, and a dream that is becoming reality. Jake begins to dribble using his unique technique, moving with a fluidity that genuinely impresses Steph. He makes a fake to the left, spins his body, and shoots from a position that no basketball manual ever described. The ball draws a perfect arc in the air, and when it passes cleanly through the basket, the entire school explodes in screams that can be heard blocks away. Steph Curry stops for a moment, looks at Jake with genuine respect, and then does something that breaks the internet before the video is even posted. He applauds. "Man, that was incredible," Steph says, getting the ball back. "Now, it's my turn." What follows are 10 minutes of the most precious in that school's history. Steph and Jake play with total seriousness, respecting each other as true athletes. Steph doesn't let Jake win. He plays for real. And Jake responds with an intensity that makes Steph work for every point. Great dreams happen when two people meet in the sacred territory of mutual respect, where skill is measured not by what you have, but by what you do with what you possess. At that moment, Jake is not a boy with one arm. He is simply a basketball player facing another basketball player. The game ends 7-5 for Steph, but when Jake scores the last point with an impossible shot over his hero's extended arm, Steph hugs the boy with an emotion that makes everyone present understand they witnessed something much greater than basketball. "Jake," Steph whispers in the boy's ear, "you taught me today that I still have a lot to learn about greatness." The videos of the one-on-one game between Steph Curry and Jake Rodriguez begin to be posted before they even finish hugging. In 2 hours, Curry See Me is not just trending. It's a viral revolution of hope that spreads throughout the entire world. The videos of the one-on-one game between Steph Curry and Jake Rodriguez explode on social media like digital fireworks illuminating the entire world. In 6 hours, Curry See Me accumulates 15 million views. In 24 hours, the hashtag is trending in 87 countries. In 48 hours, the moment when Jake scores a clean basket over Steph Curry becomes the most shared basketball clip in social media history. But numbers are just numbers. What really matters happens in the hearts and minds of millions of people who watch those 10 minutes and understand they witnessed something much greater than sport. You can perceive that there are moments in human history when a single authentic interaction can redefine what possibility means for an entire generation. Children with disabilities around the world watch Jake play as an equal with Steph Curry, and for the first time see that their own dreams are not absurd. They are just unique. Steph doesn't stop at the school game. That same week, he invites Jake to train with him at his private facilities. What should be a photo session transforms into something much deeper. Steph genuinely learns from the adapted techniques that Jake developed. "Jake, man, you showed me moves I never thought were possible," Steph confesses during one of the training sessions. "You didn't play basketball despite having one arm. You created new basketball because you have one arm." Lisa Rodriguez watches these training sessions from the bleachers, tears silently rolling down her face. as she sees her son being treated not as a symbolic inspiration, but as a real athlete by someone who understands the difference. How is it possible that seeing your child finally be seen for what he really is, a basketball player, can heal years of maternal worry? Lisa discovers that sometimes the greatest gift a parent can receive is witnessing the moment when the world finally sees their child the same way she always has. James Wilson documents every training session, every laugh, every moment when Jake and Steph exchange techniques like true partners. He realizes he's not just recording Jake's journey, he's capturing the evolution of two people who became better versions of themselves through their connection with each other. At that moment, something happened that no one expected. Steph announces the creation of the Initiative Without Limitations, a national program that connects professional athletes with young athletes with disabilities, not for charity, but for mutual skill development. Jake taught me that adaptation is innovation, Steph declares at the press conference announcing the program. We want to create spaces where athletes with disabilities are not seen as inspirational stories, but as innovators who can teach new forms of excellence to all of us. It's impossible not to feel the silent revolution that happens when we change perspective. From helping special people to learning from minds that think differently, Steph's program becomes a model for hundreds of sports organizations around the world. 1 year later, Jake Rodriguez stands at the free throw line of the Oakland Youth Basketball League gymnasium, wearing the official uniform of the Golden Eagles, the first one-armed player accepted in an official competitive league in California history. The gymnasium is packed beyond capacity. There are people from the community, sports journalists, children with disabilities who traveled from other states just to see Jake play. But the person who matters most to Jake is sitting in the first row, Steph Curry, who hasn't missed a single official Jake game during the entire season. "Can you believe this kid is going to the playoffs?" whispers Tommy, a teammate to another player. Jake smiles, remembering when he used to be the invisible boy on the school court. How many times do we witness the exact moment when impossible dreams become everyday reality? Jake positions the ball, takes a deep breath, and shoots with the unique technique he developed 4 years ago in his home garage. The ball passes cleanly through the basket, and the crowd explodes in applause that makes the gymnasium shake. But what makes Jake smile isn't the applause. It's seeing Steph Curry in the first row shouting, "That's it, man!" as if he were his older brother. During halftime, Steph comes down to the court and hugs Jake as he does at every game. "How are you feeling, champion?" "Steph," Jake responds, looking around the gymnasium, filled with people who came specifically to see him play. "I discovered something. I never wanted to prove I can play basketball, despite having one arm. I wanted to prove I can play basketball because I have one arm. It makes a difference." Have you ever witnessed the moment when someone completely understands who they are and embraces that identity with total pride? Steph feels a chill run down his spine when he realizes that Jake didn't just achieve his dream. He redefined what that dream meant from the beginning. The game continues, and Jake finishes with 15 points, 7 assists, and 3 steals. But the statistics are irrelevant compared to what happens after the victory. Children with disabilities from throughout the gymnasium run to the court wanting to meet Jake, not as distant inspiration, but as living proof that their own dreams are not impossible. Jake talks with each one of them, teaches some moves, and plants seeds that will grow in gardens of infinite possibilities. Great dreams happen when we realize that our difference is not an obstacle to greatness. It's our unique path to achieving it, Jake tells an 8-year-old girl who was born without both legs but dreams of playing wheelchair basketball. The key phrase has evolved to its final and most powerful form, carrying all the wisdom Jake accumulated during his journey of transforming limitation into superpower. Steph observes Jake interacting with the children and feels deep gratitude for having been part of this story. He learned as much as he taught, received as much as he gave, and discovered that sometimes being a hero simply means recognizing the hero that exists in other people. It's impossible not to feel that this is just the beginning. Jake is going to high school next year, where he will continue playing and inspiring. The initiative Without Limitations has already changed the lives of more than 1,000 young athletes. And somewhere, an 8-year-old child is watching Jake's videos and thinking, if he can, I can too. This is a story about impossible dreams, but it is even more a story about how two people can meet at the perfect moment and create waves of change that spread through entire generations. And every time someone says something is impossible, Jake Rodriguez is there to remind the world that impossible is just another word for we haven't invented the right way to do it yet.